If you are training for your first half marathon
and you want to know how to prepare,
then this video is for you. Welcome back. Welcome back to Between Miles. Today we are going to chat about how to prep for your first half marathon.
Yes.
Now that we are in summer, a lot of people are preparing for maybe their first half marathon in fall.
Yeah.
Or maybe they're thinking about it for next year.
Yeah.
And it's a good time to talk about this.
Yeah, because when you got into or back into running, your distance, and still is the distance that you're racing mostly, is the half marathon.
Correct.
So I guess take us back to, if you could do that first one again, what are some of the things you'd sort of highlight in training maybe?
Oh, so much.
Yeah.
So much. Okay. So I think it depends a little bit on where you are right now in terms of your running, how much you already run. For me, I was already running a bit here and there, but not really, nothing structured. And I decided to sign up for a half marathon because I thought it was a distance that I could do, because I knew I could run a 10K.
Yeah.
If you are not there yet, it might make sense to first do a 10K. But if you sporadically run 8 kilometers, 10 kilometers every now and then I think you're good to go to start a half marathon plan.
Yeah.
Given that you have enough time. So the one I signed up for back then, I think I had about 10 weeks. So I started with the Nike Run Club.
Yeah.
And I think one of their options was 12 weeks. Now, I was a little bit shorter on the plan, so I had 10 weeks to prepare, which for me worked out okay because I already had a little bit of a base.
Yeah.
Now, if people are watching this and they're like, well, that sounds like me, great. I think with 10 weeks you can get ready for a half marathon if you already are running every now and then. If you are building up from scratch though, you might need some more time, and that's why I would suggest maybe first doing a 10K and then building to a half marathon. So what I would definitely recommend is to follow a training plan.
Yeah.
It was the very first training plan that I followed. I installed a Nike Run Club because it was free. So, very low barrier of entry. You can just test it out, get started, see if you like it.
And what running app do you use now for training?
Right now I use Runna, which has helped me progress a lot since that first half marathon. So basically, I did the first one with the Nike Run Club, finished, and then I was like, okay, what's next?
Yeah,
because
as we all do.
Yeah, and they have one half marathon plan in there instead of multiple. So if you would want to do it again, like another half marathon, you would have to do the same plan again.
Yeah.
And I didn't want to do that. So I went looking for another app. I ended up with Runna, and I've stuck with them kind of ever since, even though now I adjust their plans a lot to my own needs.
Yeah.
But definitely helped me to get faster. So to take you back indeed to that first half marathon, I decided that I wanted to run a second one because the first one did not go as planned.
Yeah.
So I think we can talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, what happened in that first half marathon?
Yeah, so I ran a pretty decent time, I would say. I ended up running a 1:36,
Yep.
which for many people is very fast. For me, I was very happy with it as well.
Yeah.
But I wasn't happy with how the race went, because around kilometer 15, 16, I hit the wall.
Yeah.
And I had never hit a wall before.
Yeah.
So I was like, what is this? I felt like I had to walk. I didn't do that. Now in hindsight, I know that that's also okay.
Yep.
But yeah, I hit the wall and I wasn't sure what to do, and I also wasn't quite sure why it had happened. So here we are.
Can
Year and a
I
half.
take a guess? Can I take a guess? Was it fueling?
A big chunk of it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like we're a year and a half later now, and I've learned so much. So I think there's a couple of tips maybe that we can talk through to avoid hitting a wall in your first half marathon, to just go into it the best possible way.
Yes.
So I think the first thing actually that went wrong for me was I didn't really have a pacing plan.
Mm-hmm.
So I went into this first half marathon thinking I'm just gonna go run and we'll see how it goes.
Right.
And at kilometer 3-4, I realized I was very close to I think it was like a 4:20 or 4:15 pacing flag.
Mm-hmm.
And I realized that was not what I wanted.
Yeah.
Because that was too fast for me. But I had a really hard time putting back, and I just kept going with it.
Right.
So, and then obviously bunked later.
Yeah.
So the first tip, I think, is to kind of have an idea of, okay, what's a pace I can run comfortably.
Yeah.
It's pushing yourself, obviously, if you want to race it.
Yeah.
But you know you can do it. And you, ideally, negative split.
Yeah.
Ideally.
The dream for every runner.
The dream. Yeah, it's hard. It's possible. But it's hard because I think we all struggle with nerves during the race. Like,
And also you get caught up in that crowd, don't you?
Yes.
Like that crowd when you first go off.
all the adrenaline.
Either you're stuck in a crowd and you can't get out of it,
Yeah.
or you're stuck in a crowd that just is like, oh my goodness, I'm going faster than I wanted
Yeah.
to.
It's hard. It's not easy. And yeah, well, so I guess the first thing is to have a bit of a pacing plan. You can look them up online. There's plenty of guidelines for this. And then second thing is definitely fuel. I mean, we have a whole episode about nutrition. We have tips on your first road, trail or ultra race where we talk about this already, but fueling for a half marathon is quite interesting because a lot of people may read online that they don't need extra fuel during their half marathon,
Yeah.
which I personally think
this
is
is based on
ridiculous.
this is based on a 90 minutes, isn't
Yes.
it? Usually.
They're like, if you run it faster than 90 minutes, you don't need it.
Yeah.
I think that's not true. I mean, I run it faster than 90 minutes right now, and I still fuel. And even more so, I think I would never run it that fast
If you
without
didn't,
the fuel.
yeah, for sure.
So, but obviously there's multiple parts to fueling. There's eating before, like the days leading up to.
Mm-hmm.
There's
Good old
eating,
carb loading.
carb loading, which is also interesting because people tend to say, oh, for a half marathon, you don't really need to carb load, or just the evening before. Well, heck, I just carb load for 2 days.
Yeah.
Like, figure out what works well for you, and obviously you're not going to notice on your first race. I'd say don't overdo it on that first one,
Yeah.
but try to eat a bit more carbs. And I think an essential tip is that you don't necessarily eat more. You just make sure that you eat more carbs.
Yeah. You take out some of the fat, some of the protein, don't you? And you
Yeah.
replace it with some carbs.
Yeah, and you make sure that the evening before you do eat very simple food.
Yeah.
Not too many vegetables, not too much fruit, so your stomach can digest it all really easily. And the morning off, you can empty yourself out.
Yeah.
And that's it. Then you have the morning off, of course, and nutrition then. So for me, right now I'm still learning to get better at this. To be fair, like, I only eat a banana before.
Yeah.
I think if I was to talk with a sport dietitian, sport nutritionist, they would say, you need to eat more.
Yeah.
Well, that's why I do carb load for 2 days. I have my banana, and I personally take 2 gels of 25 grams of carbs during the race. That's my current strategy. I'm sure it's going to keep changing. And that's what I've been working towards too.
Yeah.
Because in the beginning, I didn't eat before, and I didn't eat during. Now I make sure that I do that. And then there's a few other things that you of course can work on. Sleep. Make sure you sleep enough before your first race. And we both know, the night before your first race, you probably don't shut an eye.
Yeah.
It's just you're
Nerves.
nervous. How was that for you for your very first one?
Yeah, I was quite nervous actually. I feel like it's hard to remember. I still get nervous now before any race, even if I'm
Yeah.
like, I'm not racing it, I'm just doing it for fun. You can still feel a bit like, ooh.
Yeah. Yeah. A little bit different, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So I think what you can do, because the night before your very first race, you definitely may feel nervous.
Yeah.
You might not sleep as well. So I would say try to focus on your sleep the whole week leading up to it.
Yeah, definitely.
Just go to bed earlier. Try to basically stock up on sleep.
Yeah. Carb loading sleep.
Exactly. And then that one night where you sleep way less is not going to be that bad in the end.
No.
You'll be okay.
And then I guess my next question sort of around it is, you have done some amazing PBs within a year.
Yeah.
You've dropped off what, like, is it 10 minutes?
Yeah. 9 minutes.
9 minutes. So what has sort of changed in your training, in those training blocks? Or, I mean, I guess you haven't done specifically training blocks, but what's changed in your training to get you faster?
As I say, I think you could say I've had 3 to 4 training blocks.
Yeah.
10 weeks for the first. Then I had 6 weeks till the next.
Yeah.
Which is not a training block. So let's call it a half.
Yeah.
And then I took a little break and I started training for fall. So for my October half marathon. And then I started training for the new year.
Yeah.
Actually April. So 4 total blocks, of which 2 were really big.
Yeah. And were you adding in longer trainings or more speed or?
So the first 2, I just did what the plan told me to do. And they were short blocks. And I figured out that there were 2 things that worked better for me. One, a longer training block.
Yep.
It has to do with me also just loving to run.
Yeah.
So I'm like, well, I'm gonna run anyway. So I like to have a longer block, like 16 to 20 weeks. Although I think my first long one was 22.
Yeah.
Which is ridiculous, I know, but it worked well for me. And then I started running longer. So even though I was training for a half, I started to run more and more with people who were training for a full marathon.
Yes.
So my distances increased. So I would run the amount of kilometers that Rana told me to, but then I would add more on top.
Yeah.
So that was like, I think the first changes were longer training block, more distance covered than my training plan told me to.
But also done with caution, right?
Yes.
You were still doing it with the 10% increase. You weren't just like, here's my plan, let's just go for like 100k week. You were building that up still slowly, right?
Yes.
Let me rephrase that. That is what you should do.
That's what I should have done.
Yeah,
I'll be like, to be honest, was I cautious? Yes. Was I overly cautious? No.
Yeah.
So basically, up until I started in summer, ran a half marathon in October, all good, no injuries. But then I was not happy with that half marathon, and I did like a 4-week sprint to get better for another one.
Yeah.
And that's when I started feeling signs of shin spins. So I think I lost control for 4 weeks, regained it after.
Yeah.
Since then I've been much more cautious.
Yeah.
Because it really, it woke me up.
Sometimes you need that wake up, don't you?
I was like, oh no. And I started reading about it and I was like, this is the worst thing.
Yeah.
I need to dial it back. Since then I've been doing it all much more cautiously and basically started to still increase distance.
Yeah.
But I started scaling back on the amount of speed work. And I think this is a very nice controversial topic.
Yes.
There's a lot of people that stand by the 80-20 rule. But then there's also plenty of people that say, to get faster, you need to work on speed.
Yeah.
And truth is, I cannot say that.
Yeah.
I'm not the expert. Truth is, for me,
yeah.
For me personally, I do need at least a little bit of speed work. But I can say, okay, I truly follow about an 80-20 rule in terms of my training days. So if I run 5 times a week, 1 time I will do some speed. But in terms of load, I'm more than 90-10.
Yeah.
So, and that just keeps me injury free.
But I think that's also the key thing, isn't it? To take away that it is very dependent on who you are. There's some ultra runners out there that don't do the same distance, and some do a lot more speed and a lot less miles than ultra runners. So I think it really depends on how your body how you're able to push yourself,
And
and
also,
what you enjoy as well, right?
exactly, I was gonna say that it really matters also, like it depends on what you enjoy. Because I really love running for longer.
Yeah,
But arguably, I think I could run my next half marathon faster if I kept working on speed more.
yeah,
I do think that. Maybe I will beat the odds
yeah.
and do really well in a few months from now. But if I don't, I'm also not going to be sad about it because I chose this training.
Yeah, and that's also because you have another race straight afterwards.
That's true. So I have two things to focus on. So going back to if it's your first one, I think for training on your first one, it's a pretty safe approach to just follow the 80-20 rule.
Yeah,
And then you can see after that if you want to do more speed or if you really enjoy maybe running longer distance. Maybe you want to scale to a marathon. Maybe you do love the half, but you just want to run longer in training, like me. And then you can kind of see, okay, what works well for my body.
yeah,
But following the 80-20 rule in that first training block for your first half marathon, it just it allows you to probably stay injury free, or at least it'll help you to.
especially if you have a good plan. That plan will factor in that 80-20, so
Yes.
you don't have to worry about it too much.
Yeah.
I think that's also key, isn't it, for your first one, is to really have a plan that you trust.
Yeah. Then I think the other thing, if it's your first half marathon, it might also be the very first time you're going to taper.
Yeah,
Maybe you have done a 10K, maybe you did a very tiny taper for that. Most 10K runners, I think, maybe taper, but
yeah. I mean,
Actually,
I'm
don't
definitely
know.
not an expert on that one.
I actually do not know.
Ultramarathons, you're tapering for a full week, so
I mean, I would guess that if 10Ks are your distance, you would probably also taper, but
yeah,
for your first half,
You
you
will be
definitely
tapering.
want to do it.
yeah,
So you've done your training, then you want to take a week and a half, I would say, for your first half marathon.
yeah,
For a full marathon, it's often 2 weeks of tapering. But with a half, I think you can get away with basically 2 weeks before your half, you do your last long run, and then you kind of taper for 2 weeks, but maybe the second week basically before your actual race, you are still running quite a bit, but you start to lower the intensity,
yeah, exactly.
and then really in the taper, you really take a chill.
Yeah, and you want the taper to feel uncomfortable. If you feel like you're bursting full of energy
Yeah.
and you want to go, and sometimes you also feel like, I think, like almost like you in your mind you think there's injuries, like, oh,
Yeah.
does this hurt? Does that hurt?
Yeah.
And I think it's just your mind playing tricks on you. But that's normal in taper. I think everyone feels it.
Yeah, and I think Philly Bowden had she has an interesting version of a taper. She keeps running just as much, so she does not really taper, I think, but I think she does decrease the intensity.
Yeah, some more easy runs.
Yeah, and she, from what I have heard, says you keep running the same days, so you don't reduce the amount of days.
Yeah,
Maybe just easier, less kilometers or miles. And I think that can also really work especially if you get really caught up in your head.
yeah,
Like, oh no, I'm not running enough. You can still run.
yeah.
So yeah.
Cool. Well, I think that sums
yeah.
up everything for your first half marathon.
Maybe gear.
Okay.
That's the final thing I would say.
Oh yeah.
So going into your first half marathon, what do you take? How do you prepare, in terms of what you're wearing, what you bring?
True. Well,
I see
hopefully you've practiced your fueling.
Yes.
And you have fuel ready to go. So that's definitely one you want to have on the day, but also practice beforehand.
Yeah. I think what you want to practice is fueling. You want to wear your race day kit
What?
on a long run before you actually do it.
Yeah.
Because you want to check if nothing is chafing or gets uncomfortable after a longer run.
Very true.
So wear what you want to wear on race day. For example, run to wear bras,
Yes. Wait.
or there we go. I even have run to wear socks on, but some's also great.
Yeah, some are great.
We are both wearing Wheezy shorts right now. They're marathon short.
Yeah.
Also great for a half marathon.
Look how many pockets there's so many
All the pockets. It has all the pockets, guys. So you can put your gels in, your keys, your phone, so you can call your friends, find your family after your race.
Yeah.
And also, even like if you're running, maybe if you're stressed out that you want to stop or whatever.
Keep your headphones in there. Some people like palming
Yes.
a headphone in.
I was going to say headphones, and make sure that they are charged. Charge your watch if you're running with a watch.
Yeah.
Make sure that you have worn your shoes before, please.
Yeah.
Even if you are...
Don't be putting on those fresh carbon plates.
Oh my god. I understand that people want to keep their carbon plates fresh, but please wear them.
Try them out.
Try them out. Don't be like Caroline on her last half marathon, where her shoe really hurt her foot and the whole race sucked.
Yeah.
So make sure that you wear them on a longer run. Just do it, because they are still fresh after 20k.
Yeah.
And at least now you know if they're going to be comfortable during your race or not.
Exactly. And what we'll do is we'll link all our favourite bits for gear for your half marathon down below, so you can actually see what we like.
That's a great idea. And then last but not least, one thing that I've seen come up over and over again is, do you need to bring a vest during your first half marathon? Well, if it's a road race, you're gonna have probably plenty of aid stations.
You probably have 2 or 3, probably.
Yeah. So for a half marathon, it should be fine. But again, do what makes you feel comfortable.
If you've trained with a vest, and it's like you know that you can take water from a vest and it's not gonna hinder you or like distract you.
Yeah, and you can have that
Have a
any
vest.
time. Exactly. Don't let anybody judge you.
No.
Don't care about what anybody says. If you want to wear a vest,
Wear a vest.
wear a vest. Really. And yeah, I think with that, you should have all the information to run a pretty damn decent first half marathon.
Woo!
What would you say, Liz? Complete?
Yes. Agreed.
Complete. Agreed.
Have a good half marathon.
Have a good first half marathon. And don't forget, have fun.
Yes.
Have
And like
fun.
and subscribe.
All right. Like and subscribe, please. Yeah, good one. All right. See you in the next one.